So yes, I hope you guys are doing good. It's New York session. Yeah. So this is just like my perspective of what is going to happen in the upcoming months or in the upcoming days. मेरा perspective क्या है? Okay. So it is in the starting of the video. I will just tell you all technically what I am expecting, and as we go, I will just go fundamentally too. Fundamentally, what is going on apart from US and Iran? Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. So starting from the start itself, I was not much active, these days. Okay, but the days which I was active, the recent was this. जहाँ पे price is, is which I would say is like yeah, इस मंथली हाई को स्वीप करता है, एंड दिस मंथली हाई हैज बीन स्वीप्ड. And if we go to the lower time frame, we saw sweeping this high, and then we saw some reactions that led to this order block. And ये जो price को जब sweep किया था इस monthly high, and then that led to the order block, 1 day order block, that is also driven by some fundamentals. But yeah, in technical terms we can say the price is moving from PDRA to PDRA. Okay, so if I go to the monthly time frame, and jab price was around here, as I said, swept this monthly high, so the end goal was this. Okay, क्योंकि ये price is हाई को स्वीप करके we can't expect price to go somewhere around here, or even this lower, this like the monthly time frame. We need some fundamental backed up things that is guaranteeing us ki, price is going for such higher prices. That back then, that was Kevin Warsh. Okay, I will tell you all Kevin Warsh ka motive kya hai, ki what is the thing. Okay, yeah, so that's the thing. And yes, we saw कि price eventually went up there. Now if you see कि मैंने इस वीडियो में अभी बोला कि price tapped into this, and I was actually aiming for this highs. And if you see, like आपके मन में भी एक क्वेश्चन आता होगा कि in your mind even you would have got a question that it's like you told after the price actually tapped into the monthly high, and it got swept, and then you are making a video, and then you are claiming that you knew. But certainly if you know that DXY and XAUUSD, which is like the paper gold, move inversely. So if DXY is pumping, XAUUSD needs to dump. Okay, so if you know me, and if you are seeing the channel, I was actually telling from a long time, I'll just tell you all कि मैंने वो setup भी क्यों रखा था. Okay, so I'll just tell you all कि I was actually expecting these lows way earlier, lows like such ways, or way earlier, lower prices like this, 4,000, 1,100, or $4,000. Okay, so that's the thing. If I am expecting lower prices on gold, which is like this dump, to tap into this low, if you see ये कब tap होता है, around around 11.6 it tapped in. If you see around 11.6 it tapped in, and I was expecting lower prices on XAUUSD. Eventually DXY is going to pump. If I am expecting lower prices on gold, then I would have known that DXY is going to pump, and because of that I would have told you all ki I was expecting XAUUSD to dump. Okay, आप correlation समझ रहे हो कि if I know that XAUUSD, that is gold, that paper gold, is going to dump, how would I know that XAUUSD is going to dump? Through DXY. Okay, that's the thing. So yeah, and if you remember this date as well, around here 11/6/2026, when it swept, and we saw some pump eventually, and then the dump. It's like 11/6 ko it swept this low, and then around 17, which again it tapped into this order block, and then it again went for more lower prices. Okay, if you go to DXY, remember the date, okay, 11 and 17. Okay, on 11, it's like on 11 it swept this high. Okay, see, that's the thing, on 11 it swept this high, it went to this order block on it's like this pump 17. Okay, this order block on 17, the pump, and it went for these highs. So it's like, if I knew, or if you guys knew that DXY is going to eventually pump, it would be so easier, it would be just on your tip of the mouth that gold is XAUUSD is going to dump. Okay, if you crack down the fundamentals, the technicals of DXY, the fundamentals of XAUUSD becomes much more easier. Okay, that's the thing. So technically, as I said, हम यहाँ वीकली आते हैं. देर आर टू पर्सपेक्टिव इन माई माइंड. फर्स्ट कि हम इस मंथली फेयर वैल्यू गैप जो है ये जो कि ये मंथली फेयर वैल्यू गैप है, यहाँ पे टैप इन करेंगे, एंड फर्स्ट द प्राइस विल टैप इन टू दिस, एंड देन वी कैन see that price tapping into this weekly order block. Okay, or we tap into this weekly order block and then go to this monthly fair value gap. So there are two perspectives. Okay, but since the price is in between, we don't know where the price will go first. Okay, so what's my perspective is, I am currently waiting, I am not anticipating into the market that I can just sell sell DXY till here and then buy from here, or like in terms of XAUUSD, just buy gold now, and when the DXY reaches here, I will just sell here. Eventually, if DXY pumps, you have to sell XAUUSD. Okay, so that's the thing. So I am just waiting now, I am anticipating where the price will reach first, to this monthly fair value gap or to this weekly order block. Okay, so it all depends on now the fundamentals. Okay, abhi ek news tha, I am around manufacturing something, so even that can play a role, tell whether gold will just dump now or just go to this higher prices. Okay, anticipating now, it's much riskier. Okay, because you don't know where the price will react to which PDRA. Because for me, how I approach is that market goes from one PDRA to another PDRA to go to another PDRA. Take example of this. Price has gone to this PDRA to come to this PDRA, this order block, and then go to the final PDRA, which is like the 1 month ka high. Okay, so in this scenario, we don't know whether price will first go to this PDRA, just 1 month ka fair value gap, or this. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so yeah, now this is like the technicals, and even if I go to the more more lower time frames, it's useless. It's like it's useless. You can see the current past few days ka technical analysis. It's very consolidated, sort of ranging in a range, not clear directions. It's like you saw this bearish fair value gaps, then got disrespected, then again we saw sells, and then we again saw some pumps out of nowhere. So it's like now you have to wait, and if you want to anticipate it, it's just like gambling. Okay, for me, it's my perspective. Okay, there are people who might have different perspectives, that we might see first bearishness and then bullishness, or we might see first bullishness and then bearishness. So yeah, it depends, but for me, I am waiting. Okay, or if I see some changes into XAUUSD or Euro USD, that is like clear, like if Euro USD or USD pairs are I am seeing some bullishness, that if I go to XAUUSD, जैसे कि हम यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं, if on Euro XAUUSD, which is like the paper gold, which I am expecting that यहाँ तक price ऊपर जा सकता है. Okay, and then from here, which is like ultimate goal was this low. Okay, the same fair value gap if you see on DXY. See the same fair value gap on DXY. Okay, I will just mark it. Okay, so you all will understand more clearly. Okay, अब we don't know, because when DXY taps into this weekly order block, then we might be sure that यहाँ से जब gold DXY pump होगा, then eventually XAUUSD will start going for such lows and sweeping such lows. Okay, अब आप समझ रहे होगे. अब the things started getting a bit clear, how I am approaching the markets. Okay, now that's the thing. If we want DXY to just to pump up this much, eventually XAUUSD has to dump, which is like if XAUUSD pumps to this much, then XAUUSD has to dump this much, which is like the 1 month ka fair value gap, which is like now impossible, eventually leading us to the perspective that DXY is first going to this weekly order block and then going for the 1 month ka 1 month bullish fair value gap. Okay, so that's the thing. If you don't understand DXY, you reverse it, you reverse engineer it, and you analyze a gold or XAUUSD or USD pairs, and then correlate it with DXY. Okay, it's a bit complicated, बहुत लोगों को नहीं समझा होगा, but certainly if you stick with us you will understand. Okay, so that's the thing. So eventually DXY had two perspectives. It's still in between. Okay, you can see this DXY, I have written it down. DXY has two perspectives. Okay, first tapping into the monthly, then going for weekly, or first tapping into this weekly order block, bullish order block, and then going for the bearish monthly fair value gap. But certainly we went a bit down, opposite sides, like कैसा होता है, DXY ऊपर जाता है, eventually gold नीचे जाता है. But eventually if we just make the whole perspective opposite, like just guessing where XAUUSD can go or where might go, and then relating it with DXY. Okay, so the end goal for us was on XAUUSD was this lower prices, and for XAUUSD to go lower prices, we need to see bullishness on DXY. But as of now it's not going. As of now we are not seeing XAUUSD to go lower prices. It is going upward, eventually telling us DXY is going for lower prices. Are you understanding? Yeah, that's the thing. So from this we can tell tapping in this perspective, which is like tapping into this monthly bearish fair value gap first, or 1 week bullish order block second. Shit, my text, man. It's like probability is less. I am expecting by just looking at technicals, ये जो मेरा view है, it's completely based on technicals. Okay, this is less and this is high. Okay, now you could have understood what I am expecting. जैसे कि मैंने बोला gold का भी कि I am expecting lower prices like this, tapping into this fair value gap, or this sweeping this low. And if we go to the daily time frame, same here we can see this order block. Okay, same here, this order block. So this is like my sort of entry point, or where I would like to anticipate into XAUUSD. Okay, this is the thing. And even if you all want me to go a bit deeper and make you understand कि कैसा होता है how things works into XAUUSD कि जैसे ही ये high sweep हुआ, there are sort of buyers or investors who are thinking that after sweeping this high, we might make more highs, or there is a buying pressure, or sort of confirmation for buys. Okay, and they will eventually get into the market, bring some more volume. Okay, and eventually also kicking out the sellers who were holding from here, those who are holding from here, because you don't know, right? There are many sellers who are still holding, and eventually market will kick them out, eventually bringing out more buyers. Because how market works is, if a seller gets kicked out, a buyer is coming in. If a buyer gets kicked out, a seller is coming in. That's how the things work out. Okay, so eventually from here I might expect bearishness, but it all depends, again as I said, ki how DXY is performing. If DXY reaches to this weekly order block, as I said, and then at the same time we see daily bearish order block, the price reaching here on XAUUSD, then the chances are very high that yes, from here we might expect low. And from here, again I'm telling my perspective. Okay, from here the perspective changes, because again it's a monthly low, and the DXY is tapping into the the bearish fair value gap. So here, okay, this is like more sort of fundamental. Here the fundamental kicks in. Okay, now this gets more interesting. Okay, अब देखोगे तो this is where the the technicals end. Okay, I'm not now going into the technicals. Yeah, okay, Euro USD or GBP USD बचा है. Okay, so on Euro USD it's very clear. Let's start from the higher time frame itself, 3 month. Okay, so I'm expecting this like 1.2750 to 1.2161, which is like almost 70 pips ka range. From here I'm expecting bullishness. Okay, now I will tell you all why fundamental now is getting kicked in. Okay, now बहुत जल्दी मैंने बोल दिया. Okay, I'll just tell you all कि अभी भी मैंने क्यों यहाँ पे एक बाय पोजीशन रखा था. Okay, now I am expecting to tapped in on a higher time frame कि I am expecting this order block to get tapped in, क्योंकि if I go to the 1 month का time frame, there's nothing much. Again as I said, 1 week nothing much. Yeah, 1 week maybe we are seeing a good volume gap, a bearish volume gap. Okay, and I go to 1 day, we can see no such thing called as bullish fair value gaps getting supported or being formed. And on the opposite hand, we see bearish fair value gaps getting supported or getting respected. Okay, and that's the thing. And and eventually I am aiming for this order block 3 month ka, which is like almost now 100 pips or more than 100 pips. Yeah, 150 pips ke range mein. Okay, that's the thing. And if I go to GBP USD, so like if I go to the 1 month, it's very complicated. 1 month इसमें इतना कुछ है नहीं, but by knowing DXY and Euro USD, we can a bit anticipate GBP USD. That's the thing. Okay, so I'm not going much into GBP USD, but yeah, that's the thing. जितना मुझे दिख रहा है कि ये ऑर्डर ब्लॉक है कि जहाँ से वी माइट एक्सपेक्ट लोअर प्राइसेस कि, और जहाँ पे प्राइस इवेंचुअली जाने वाला है, एंड यू कैन मेक सम बाय पोजीशंस एंड मेक सम स्कैल्प्स टिल ईयर. ओके, 30 पिप्स का है, एंड इवन इफ आई गो टू lower time frame and if I see there is nothing much and if आपको around इतना risk लेना है from this order block as well, it's a bit risky. Okay, it's like if I want to make a position, it would be this, or since there is news, there is good volume, we might just see tapping into this fair value gap too, and just going for here. But more likely, if you want my view, I can just go for this tip of this order block, SL to year of around 20 pips, aiming for this, which is like almost 50 pips ka trade. not 50 pips, but almost like 50 pips cut rate. So this would be my entry, which is like a bit risky, but yeah, which is a good scalp. Okay, yeah. So now going to fundamentals. Okay, as you all see कि जैसे DXY मूव कर रहा है उसी का इन्वर्स XAU USD Euro USD and GBP USD मूव होता है. So if you crack down DXY, you crack down rest of the USD pairs. So DXY, how it is being controlled, fundamentally, if you see, interest rates, tariff, wars and many other things, but ये जो तीन चीज़ है जो कि है I'll just write it here down, around tariff, tariff, interest rates, then wars, prices of oil, okay, and then inflation and mostly, but basically I would, if I want to tell you, तो यही तीन चीज़ें it would be good. Okay, I would not extend much. Okay, so हमने tariff देखा है, and those who guys are now seeing my video, so it's like tariff मैंने around जब mostly you would be seeing now कि in the late 2025 कि लोग बोल रहे tariff होता है, but if you all know, if you are seeing me, तो it started around Feb end, around March start. It's like March April में ही start हो गया था tariff का जो होता है, and we were actually trading it. Okay, then interest rates be around if you go to my just channel and it's like go to Telegram and just search interest rates, you will get my channels where I have told the word interest rates, and just specifically search it, and just go out and just tap into it. You will know how interest rates are working, how at that specific time. Go to the charts, check how interest rates have affected DXY or gold or XAU USD or USD pairs. You will understand it much better. Okay, so that's the thing. So this is like the this is like the thing where I have told, like in a short, like in a conclusion, how interest rates are working. Okay, so this is the thing, just read it. It was around August 7 2025. So that's the thing. And इसके पहले भी बहुत I have written stuff about interest rates, and there are much more. Okay, so that's the thing. And the same way there are much more, if you see around, it's like January, it's like around January as well, I was actually trading tariff. Okay, so that's the thing. So Euro USD हो गया, volume was not that yesterday and cancelled there. And the thing, if you see tariff, the fundamental reason, और अब ये date देखना, January 31 2025, and just let me know who was trading tariff from back then. Okay, I would be very grateful to know that if any trader or any influencer that knew about tariff from Jan 31st 2025, I would be very grateful if someone knew and was telling the audience. And I was just explaining here how things works. Okay, so now like if you see on interest rates, like on interest rates now, tariff तो हो चुका है, tariff हो चुका है, now interest rates. Okay, what is the monopoly of interest rates? And this is the thing. First, let's understand this. If interest rates is higher, eventually DXY pumps and USD pair dumps. If interest rates are lower, DXY dumps and USD pair pumps. Okay, so Trump on the other hand wants lower interest rates, and Kevin Warsh, the chairman, wants higher interest rates. I mean, he doesn't want, but he is telling around. Okay, वो हर जगह बोल रहा है कि उन्हें higher interest rates ही चाहिए. The Feds लीजा कुक, इफ़ यू हैव सीन, उनका भी एक अभी कोर्ट केस चल रहा था. बेसिकली ट्रम्प और अदर पार्टीज वांटेड लीजा कुक टू गेट रिजाइंड, और इट्स लाइक उन्हें इनडायरेक्टली किक किया जा रहा था फेड्स के इससे. And Lisa Cook was the one who wanted higher interest rates, was looking good for the country, because she thinks that higher interest rates is eventually good for the country. Okay, and this is the incident, and if you go to my channel, or just search that, even on September October, where Trump was telling lower interest rates, and Jerome Powell jab tha chairman, so he was telling no, we can't do, and we won't do, and I will just tell higher interest rates. ये पोवल का स्टेटमेंट था. बट इवेंचुअली ट्रम्प डिड एनीथिंग, और ट्रम्प पुल्ड सम स्ट्रिंग्स that made lower interest rates eventually, and now Powell is resigned eventually. उनका वर्क का जो agreement था वो भी अभी resign होता है. And plus in this period of time, even he got up into a criminal investigation, which was like he charged more for his office to get renovated and something, it was something. So it is like Trump को if कुछ चाहिए तो he wants that. Okay, and if you all want to know, that Kevin Walsh, who was the chairman of Fed is again an independent body. Independent body मतलब Fed वही करता है जो उन्हें लगता है, जो कि which is good for the country. They don't just get under pressure of politician or businessman. Okay, they do that is neutral, that is good for the country. But again, the president wants lower interest rates, and the Kevin Walsh is elected and nominated by him as the chairperson, and he is saying as of now higher interest rates. But I don't know, man. Okay, so that's the thing. There are two different perspectives going on. One, the president wants lower interest rates. The Feds, which is the independent body, wants higher interest rates. So now it's getting very tenseful, because Trump at the end of the day does anything he wants. So I don't think so how it will go. So at the end of the day, this is how the things will work. The interest rates higher, so DXY pumps, and if it's lower, and that's the thing. Okay, so fundamentally this is the topic which will be in the mainstream in the upcoming days, and this will decide the bias. This will decide whether the DXY will disrespect this monthly fair value gap. It's like अगर interest rate higher होता है and they stick with higher, so this fair value gap will be disrespected. This will be disrespected. Okay, ये जो आप ऑर्डर ब्लॉक देख रहे हो 1 month के टाइम फ्रेम में, this will eventually get formed much here, and eventually price comes here and it will give more higher prices. Okay, and we might expect gold to eventually see this, like lower prices around 3,500, if the Fed chairman, or like the Kevin Walsh is stick to stuck to higher interest rates, and they don't got under influence, they don't get under influence of Trump, which is like he wants lower interest rates. But technically speaking, we don't know, I can't tell you all what can happen, because Trump on the other hand does anything he wants, and even Feds are very much frustrated and angry, which I would say, because has said Fed is an independent body, and if it is being controlled by any president, तो जो DXY के इन्वेस्टर्स है, दो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स, they will just remove their funds from DXY, because if they knew that Feds is just a body that is being controlled by businessmen or politicians, then eventually जो trust issue होता है that goes off. एंड इसके वजह से बहुत पहले भी DXY का प्राइस मैनिपुलेट हो चुका है. Okay, so that's the thing. That's why Fed is an independent body for foreign investors to rely, and to rely that their information, that their investment are secure, and just given them their privacy. Okay, that's the thing. So this is how the bias will be decided. If we see higher interest rates on a longer time frame, yes, 3500 will be delivered. Okay, and that's the thing. If Trump gets silenced, or that's the thing, I'll just write it here down. Okay, if Trump can't do much, and interest rate is higher, we might see 3500 dollars. This is the thing. This is my long term bias of fundamentally and technically. Okay, this is how I am using fundamentals with technicals. Okay, that's the thing. And DXY will just disrespect this, and go for more higher prices. And अब क्या होता है कि this is the thing कि if we go to Euro USD or GBP USD, यहाँ पे it's like we have almost came up with the historical low. Itna lower prices we have never seen on GBP USD, or of course Euro USD में तो फिर भी we have seen much lower prices, but it's like from 2015 का जो लोअर प्राइस था कि अराउंड 2017 2015 उससे कहीं लोअर जाके आए. तो नाउ इट्स लाइक we are seeing some bullishness, and this bullishness indicates us that we might go from, again, this is I'm telling from the perspective of technicals, like PDRA to PDRA. So like it's like from this PDRA to this PDRA. But agar apna fundamental, that is like higher interest rates बोला जाता है on a long term, so then it might just get disrespected. On the other hand, if we say lower interest rates, which is like this perspective which I had told you all, it's like this, this is the thing. So just view this, just read this, and go for the higher time frames on Euro USD or GBP USD. Then you will understand कि how fundamentals जहाँ पे rely करता है वहीं पे Euro USD or GBP USD will go. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, currently if I go to the 1 day का time frame, so if again, as I said, if DXY taps into this, we might expect bullishness from here. Similar can happen to gold. Okay, otherwise I am just waiting. As I said, if DXY certain areas में tap in करता है, either this or this, then I might just anticipate. Otherwise gold, it's like gold, it's at its low, and ये low भी बचा है. It's like this low has not been yet swept. Of course this has been swept. We saw bullishness, but again, okay, this is like my anticipation area where I can enter markets. Again, I would see DXY first. Okay, that's the thing. So my higher time frame goal, like my higher time frame goal, you would have seen this, and the interest rates higher on gold. We can see $3,500, which is like this, and which is like speaking. On 3-month time frame, it doesn't look much. Even on 6-month time frame, we can clearly see this. Order block, fair value gap, the entry level for fair value gap, which definitely price can come here, and we can see some reactions. So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, that's the thing. And ये जो price level बोल रहा, I'm just telling based on this order block, nothing much. Okay, this. Okay, see, that's the thing. Okay, I hope you all have good understanding for the markets. Just my perspective, and you all can have your perspective too. So yeah, that's the thing.